Mr. Henri Tiphagne, a co-host of today's program, Advocate and Executive Director, People's Watch, Director, Institute of Human Rights Education, also the National Working Secretary of the Human Rights Defenders Alert, and the All India Network of Individuals and NGOs who are working with the national and state human rights institutions, INI. But more than that, Henri is somebody who worked very, very closely with Justice Suresh on over 24 probably people's tribunals and inquiries and commissions. Henri.
Thank you, Tista. Good evening, friends. We remind ourselves very clearly we are not here to mourn. We are here to celebrate the life of Justice Suresh. But as we celebrate his life, we want to first thank his family. Thank all his daughters. We have never had an occasion to meet you, but your dad has spoken to us about you. That was the way he linked all of us to your family. And we want to thank you for having denied yourselves of your father several times, on several occasions, only to make sure that he was available to us. I think that was very, very gracious on your part. And we remain strongly with you as part of your larger family across the country. Justice Suresh, interestingly, has contributed greatly to this jurisprudence of people's tribunals. And during the Tamraparani hearings, we had called it the People's Tribunal, and Justice Mohan was on the official tribunal. And he came on the phone to me and said, Henri, change the name. We will have trouble if we continue with this People's Tribunal title. And that is where we came into this new title of People's Inquest, or a public inquest. And he said, make sure, Henri, at the end of the inquiry, that we are able to send this Justice Mohan, a former judge of the Supreme Court, our report, and tell him that I sent it to him. That we conducted an inquest, and we are making the inquest report available to him. This was the intelligent way, and he did it with conversations with Justice Krishna here, who was then actively involved as well. He was a victim-centered person. He loved talking to victims. He loved walking miles together to meet victims. And he loved whatever he had to fight to ensure that he was with victims. A judge for life was what he lived. The judiciary today, the judges today, have to learn a lot from Justice Suresh. And he ensured that he translated the Constitution into action through the various tribunals he sat. One tribunal I want to recall, and this is unique, and this was in Sangarlingapuram in the year 2002. Dr. Vasanthi Devi was also there. This was a tribunal which was held when late Dr. Jayalalitha was in prison, the first imprisonment. And the hearing was conducted by him, and this was a case of Dalits' houses being completely attacked by the police. The policeman, Mr. Jangad, is still alive, and he is retired. Nobody could enter the village for 45 days, and the public hearing was conducted. Friends, as a result of the report that came out, 13 lakh compensation or 23 lakhs compensation was paid by the government of Tamil Nadu. 169 people were charged with murder. Dr. Jayalalitha ensured that 150 were dropped charges and 11 people alone were proceeded. This has never happened. And as soon as she came out of jail, this was the first village that she visited herself, personally. I was told to get out of the village if Dr. Jayalalitha had to enter the village. This was the success of public hearings that he used to lead. And I thought it is important for us to mention that. He held once a public hearing with 19 members in the jury and 32 extended members of the jury, covering about 120 cases of torture in Madurai through 8 public meetings which were converted into public hearings. This was the way he developed this whole jurisprudence of public hearings. I want to last mention Justice Suresh was for human rights, but he was very sure that he was not for the United Nations instruments on human rights. He didn't believe in that. He thought that was too far away from the people for whom he was standing. He was not even for praising the National Human Rights Commission. It was only after the retirement of one member that he joined together with him and came to Chittoor in the 20 Tamil killings. 2015, when he was already 85 years old, and he walked the distance, and he walked the distance. Friends, while we pay tribute to him today, we also want to remind ourselves we are a divided community, but Justice Suresh united us all. And I recall what was told earlier by members. It is time these differences among us as human rights defenders that Suresh threw out is also thrown out. And I strongly support an annual conference of human rights defenders in this country in his name, because he was our shield. And we will once again thank his family. I saw them there smiling. I'm happy you are able to smile, because he was such a loving father to you. He was a father to you. He was a mentor to us, and he will continue to live with us through all our actions. Thank you.